Goals that you keep your finger on the pulse of your store by setting targets for the metrics that matter most to you and your team. Think revenue, new customers, average order value, or customer acquisition cost. They're really customizable and can be set as a one-off goal like for Black Friday or for recurring periods too. They're super easy to set up and they just live in your sidebar above Digest over here. And then we'll click on the blue button here to create our first goal, and we'll be greeted by a very similar interface to, for example, when we're setting a dashboard card. So from here, we can set the goal name. We can look at all the different metrics that we can track. So revenue, customers, items sold, refunds, discounts. There's a whole bunch from you to choose from. You can also create a custom metric as well if there's something specific that you want to track for you and your team. You can set the target. Will by default put it 5% above your previous month. So in this case, it's put 243,800. And then this target will determine, for example, if we're trying to hit a certain target. So in the case of revenue, we want to hit a higher target. And then at most would be for something like customer acquisition cost or refund, where the lower the number, the better. The schedule will then also determine whether it's a one-off goal, like I said, for Black Friday, or a recurring goal. And this can, of course, you can choose daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, or a custom period if you're tracking that. The other cool thing is, especially for like a recurring goal, you can choose the period when the period starts. So it can start from today, or if you wanted to track it historically, like for example, from the beginning of this year, you could actually set it back. So in this case, let's track revenue from the beginning of 2026. So we'll leave this as net revenue. We'll call this net revenue. And then, we can leave the rest as is. We also have editing permissions too. So that will just allow you to decide whether, firstly, it's available for just you or for the whole team. In this case, I want my team members to have access to it. The same goes for the editing permissions too. So just me or the whole team. And then I'm going to save the goal. And then you can see that actually we're already making some good progress this month. So we've already hit 168,122 of our target of the 223 minimum. And then we can click on net revenue, and we've got a beautiful individual card which shows us our progress. So we can see how much is still remaining, how many days left, how ahead of the pace we are. So that's actually really cool. So you can see here that this would be the pace level based on how long has passed in this month. And we can also see that over time as well. Since we put in the start date as the beginning of the year, it's gone back and backfilled every single month so far. And we can see, for example, in January, we missed the target, but we can see that over here too. The same goes for the other periods as well. Let's now jump back into goals, and we'll set a one-off goal for Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, which is coming up in a few months. Cool thing is that you can set goals in the future too, so you can be a bit organized and start to plan for your year. So let's do Black Friday, Cyber Monday customers, and then we'll set new customers as the metric. In this case, it's going to be one-off, and then we will go and jump into November 27th, and then it will go till November 30th. And then, we can we can change this to, let's say we want 10,000 customers, and we can save the goal. Of course, since this is in the future, it's going to be 0, but it's already here for us when Black Friday is just around the corner. The last step would be to add this to your dashboard. So of course you can keep track of everything from the goals page, but the magic really happens when you customize an existing dashboard to now include goals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click customize over here, and then I'm going to add a new card. And you can see here that we have a goals option now. We can click. We'll add the new revenue one since that one's already in progress, and we have these nice cards to choose from. So there's a large one which gives you kind of all the information. There's a medium one, small, and then there's even this really slim one, which is really cool. So if you had 10 different goals that you were tracking, you could have them all stacked nicely. For this one, I'll pop in a large one, and then I'll bring it to the top, and I'll click save over here. And it pops in perfectly on the left here, and then we can see that, it's the 18th of June. We can see our current net revenue, which is 168,122, and that actually matches what we're seeing over here. And then, of course, like with anything on the dashboard, you can click on the card and it will just take you back to the goal page. So that's a basic walkthrough of how to create goals in Metric. Of course, you can go deeper and create goals with custom periods and custom metrics, but that should be enough to get you started for now. Have fun, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.